Hi Lucifer. Hi Mom Imperfecto. Hi everyone, thank you for joining. Hi Meghna. Can you all hear me? Just drop a thumbs up in the comment section if you all can hear me, please. Hi. Guys, can everybody drop a thumbs up in the comment section so that I get to know you all can hear me? Hi Lokesh. Hi Omkar. Hi. Oh, great, great. So, everybody, I am Mahika from the Mood Space, and today we have a very, very special guest with us, Lokesh, and I'm just adding him. Thank you for joining, everyone.
Hi, how are
Hi,
you?
hi, I'm good. How are you?
All good. I was actually waiting since a very long time to do this, and I'm so glad that we're doing it
Oh,
finally.
that's
So happy to
great.
be
That's
here.
great. Me too. It's
Yeah,
so good to see you.
absolutely, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so
So,
I was just
yeah,
briefing everybody, so I am Mahika from the Mood Space, and this is
okay.
Lokesh. So today we are going to talk about understanding and healing from sexual abuse. And Lokesh has been a survivor of sexual abuse, and he will be sharing his journey with us, and how so many of us have been may have been through the same journey. So it is great to have someone like you who is brave enough to speak about it, because we really do need to speak about it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Great. All right. So Lokesh, just to start, can you tell our audience about your journey?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for putting across a bit of who I am and what I strive to do in life. If I have to particularly talk about my journey of sexual abuse, I think so. I think just to go by the story, I was first sexually abused, and to set the context, actually, I was first sexually abused at age 6, and I very clearly and vividly remember that there was a series of it happening over the, I think, next 8 years. The first time he took me to a room and he performed oral sex on me and anally penetrated me and a lot of those things. Over time, I think I somehow grew into the skin of it. Every time that I crossed my way or his way, or he crossed my way, I knew for a fact that what was going to happen with me. So it had become a process for me over the years, and I sort of was machined into it, and I knew what I was going to get into every time I came across him. Um, I think it happened for the next 8 years, only until I think 11th or 12th grade is when I realized that there's something wrong that's happening. There's something uncommon about this experience, and I wanted to know as to what this is, and I wanted to talk about it with someone. But I was really, I don't want to call it awkward or shy or scared or nervous about it, because I didn't even know in the first place if I was supposed to be awkward, nervous, or shy, because I didn't know what this problem was. So my education started in the first place of understanding that this is a problem, and somehow I am blaming myself over the years, and I'm somehow putting myself in a box of my own understanding. So I got to the internet, and then I started to learn and understand, and that's how the whole healing journey started. So this is a basic view of my story from the past.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for speaking about your journey and trusting us with your story, no matter how brief it is. But as much as we can say that we understand, it's different. It's obviously different, and we really want to appreciate you speaking about it. so as to spread awareness, because it's
Right.
actually the need of the hour looking at the scenario around us, right?
It is absolutely.
Right.
I think with all that's going on in our country right now,
Hmm. Hmm.
this is absolutely and probably the most important issue
True.
and the most important conversation that we need to create around ourselves
True.
every
True.
single day.
Correct, correct. And somehow there's so much stigma surrounding it and the impact it has. And even people don't realize that sexual abuse can even happen to a male, and
Right.
which is a very a wrong assumption that people have made, that it can only happen to a woman. No, as I say
Correct.
this, I'm not undermining or demeaning any experience of any gender. What I mean to say is sexual abuse is sexual abuse, no matter to what gender it happens, right?
Correct. Right. I think so I'm not someone who likes to represent data. I'm not
Hmm.
someone who's going to come you with facts and tell you that, so much of a percentage
Hmm.
rate falls under the category of men being abused or falls under the category
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
women being abused. But
Hmm.
if you want to go by the statistic or the data that the world represents, you will be shocked to know that the percentage of men that are abused is higher than the percentage of women that are being abused. And I'm just talking about reported cases, cases that have been talked about or spoken to. So if you
Okay.
see the radar, if you see the percentage of it, and if you then wish to react, go by it. I'm not saying
Hmm.
that's a wrong way also, but I
Hmm.
personally feel and I stand for it that even if it's 1% or 1% of the population being traumatized from an experience of such kind, I'm asking you to stand up for at least that 1%
True.
whom you know. It's not
Right.
about someone, from a particular place. It's not
Hmm.
about having a 54% or a 53% rate of sexual abuse or rape or whatever it is. It's
Hmm.
about if you know anybody who's in a traumatic situation and needs
Hmm.
help, extend it
Hmm.
right away. Why
True.
do you need to
True.
sit and think on it?
Right, right. And it is so necessary because in its own experience, it is already difficult for someone to, reach out and to open up about their experience. And if they do, it is so important for the other person to extend support, like you said, and, be mindful. I think being mindful is one of the most important things, because what we don't realize is just, with the thought of helping, we won't even know that we're actually hurting the other person, right?
Right, right, absolutely. I think this comes across as one of the primary problems in this space. What I tell people
Hmm.
usually is that don't rush to help. If you want to
Hmm.
help, start creating small conversations. It
Hmm.
could be a dinner table conversation, a
Correct.
hand-in-hand walk at the garden, or anywhere that
Hmm.
you're at. Start
Right.
cracking small conversations, because of which, if let's say I'm a victim and you're talking to me as a friend tomorrow,
Hmm.
and I see you being open about the idea of wanting to hear stories
Hmm.
or open to helping people who go through
Hmm.
such traumatic situations and experiences.
Hmm.
I will have built that faith or that understanding that okay, she's ready to listen to me. Maybe
Right.
uh, a few months later, I feel more comfortable with you talking over that, and finally, I might come out to you and tell you that hey, you know what? I am a victim and now a survivor. I
Hmm.
need to talk to you about it. So
Right.
that's the foundation that we're building through a small conversation, is by building the
Correct.
trust in a victim and telling him
Hmm.
or her that okay, I'm capable enough of handling your problem and listening
Hmm.
to you. If not handling your
Right.
problem, at least giving you an ear to listen
Yeah.
to, because we need that. We don't have many of
Correct.
those people around us
True.
at the current time. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and I think, as you said, it is so important to give the person a safe space and be a safe person for them, because with this, as you said, with those small conversations, you can actually establish, support and bond. You don't have to, all the time help in the way, like, file a complaint, but you can also help
Absolutely.
by something as simple as listening, right?
Totally, very much. I
Yeah,
think the first step to doing or help extending help is to listen. I'm not even
right,
saying talk or have an opinion. Just go with an open ear and just listen. That is very important,
right,
because
true,
most of us don't end up healing because don't end up sharing. And
correct.
in order to heal, we have to get it out of our heads and our system. It's important.
Right. And as you said before having the conversation bit, what struck to me was, actually talking about abuse and everything in general, because the longer we keep it behind the curtain, it's not worth it, because we can all see how the cases are rising and how people's mentality is not changing. So the more we talk about it, is the more people will get aware about it, right?
Right. Well, the way I see it is, now if you, I'm giving you a one very prominent example is the
Hmm.
way our women are treated in the society.
Hmm.
Now, for eons, okay, this problem has been running for eons, and we've
Hmm.
fought battles, we've spoken out, we've done whatnot about women's safety, and we've empowered women. And it's 2020 already, and we're still fighting the same fight.
Right.
Now, if you see from that from zero, if we've somehow reached to, I think, 40 today, we still have a 60 to fight.
Correct. Correct.
For women, I'm talking. Right now, for
Right.
men, probably we're at 2. We're not even at
Right.
10, we're at 2.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a lot of time to ingrain that thought into
Right.
people like us, into kids, into adults who've already passed the generation and are
Hmm.
quite old and harder to crack.
Hmm.
So it's quite tough out there, I think. But the only hope that I got, the only hope that I have is if I have been able to talk about it, and because of me, if let's say even 10 people are okay and feel comfortable about their experiences and are able to share and talk about it. I'm not saying publicly, talk
Hmm.
about it
Hmm.
with one person who they personally trust and care about. That is where I have gained victory by doing what I am
True.
doing. And if
Yeah.
each
True.
and every single person, it doesn't necessarily have to be a victim or a survivor of abuse
Hmm.
to take a
Hmm.
stand on
Hmm.
it, or
Hmm.
be publicly or not so publicly vocal about it. But it's important for us to just, as I said, create a conversation right inside our
Correct.
homes, because that is where the perpetrator, that is where the person who's abusing,
Right.
that is where the victim also could possibly be.
Right. Right. And it's
Yeah.
very important to, as you said, ingrain this from the very beginning, like in educational institutions and everywhere. Because I remember when I was in school, it was taught to me later in, I think, eighth or ninth grade, what rape was actually. And
Right.
I had a few people that I knew
I
who
wasn't
had
even
already
spoken
been
to at all in
abused.
school about it,
Oh,
honestly.
okay.
Yeah.
And it's so important, right? Because the damage is done. If you maybe could have, given some education about it, maybe it could have been prevented, right?
Right,
And
absolutely. I think,
like, yeah.
yeah, yeah, no, no, please go. Sorry, cut. Yeah, please go ahead.
No, it's okay. Yeah, so like for example, maybe in your experience, if you were given education beforehand, maybe you would have reached out before, and maybe you could have received healing way before, right?
Absolutely. I think the major source, the very crux of the problem is education. As I said, for you to know
Hmm.
the therapy for something, or for you to know what's the solution to an answer, or for a question, or for
Hmm.
an issue, is
Hmm.
through education. And if we do not have that, how are you going to even consider healing as
Exactly.
a part of your journey?
Right.
And it's not just for us, it's for everybody.
Right.
The problem starts right from the very base of it. So where we're not
Hmm.
talked about, forget rape, we're not talked about very openly about sex, about genitals, about all of these things right
Hmm.
at
Hmm.
school.
Right.
It's harder for people to, then suddenly at an age understand, be completely overwhelmed with information.
Hmm.
So it's
Correct.
like
Yeah.
we're taught in school. वो कैसा होता है कि स्कूल में आपको पहले ABCD सिखाते हैं, फिर
Hmm. Hmm.
at grade 2 they teach you something else. I
Hmm.
think
Hmm.
this is also something like that we have got to
True.
start doing at from the school level.
Right. Right, right. And
Yeah,
it's so important to, even when they're giving information, to give the right information, and to not impose opinions, but to give the give the child a chance to have their own liberal opinion.
right.
Like I remember when I was in school, so what we were taught is that rape can happen to a woman, by a man, but what they fail to teach that it can also happen to a man by a woman or by a man. This is so
Absolutely.
important, because if you are ingraining in my mind from the very beginning that it can only happen to women, supposedly my male friend who may have gone through the same thing, he would obviously, deny whatever happened with him, because he's not been taught about that.
Absolutely. I think 2 years, a year and a half ago, I released a poetry that I
Hmm.
wrote and I performed at a certain place. And
Hmm.
one of the, you know, lines said that it's not a gender issue, it's a human issue. And when I say it's a human issue, it's about people being raped by people. I'm not saying a
Correct.
man being raped by a man being raped or assaulted by a woman. I'm saying people being raped by people. And that's
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
issue we need to talk and address.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah. That is something that, that it's over everything, and like, as we're speaking about abuse will not discriminate in gender. It can happen to anybody, right?
absolutely. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think consent is not gender bound. Consent is
Hmm.
something that goes for everybody. If I don't want to
Correct.
have sex, I'm not to be forced for
Right.
it.
Right.
And it goes for everybody. I read a comment down
Absolutely.
here, someone saying that schools don't have a concept of sex education, which is very much needed. I very much agree to it.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
remember my school once addressing, they took us all separately, boys and girls, of course,
Hmm. Hmm.
to a certain room, and they took us all, and we were all, excited because, of course, we're at that age and we want to know what's this, why are they taking us separately, and why are they asking
Yeah.
us to be all hush hush about it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And we went to that room and they spoke a little about, there is this male part and there is this female part, and then this happens and that, and then done. We were back to our classes. And
Hmm.
for boys, it was hardly 10 minutes. For girls, they took, I don't know, I think 20 minutes. I don't know what they explained. But what I am here trying to say, that because you're not paying attention on boys also, and you're trying to just teach women that
Hmm.
you have to be safe, or that these are your private parts, so you've got to be very
Hmm.
careful
Hmm.
about
Hmm.
it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Why don't you also teach that to the boys? You tell the boys also
Absolutely.
that what this is. Take 40 minutes and explain. Rather, you should take more time with boys because they need to understand a lot of things
Hmm. Hmm.
that
Hmm.
they don't
Hmm.
over the years. So it's about them
True.
understanding the fact that these are the parts and this is what it's for, and this is consent, and this is how you should ask, and this is what should happen. So it's
Yeah.
right from there that we don't get the understanding of what this is, and then we
True.
try to build our own assumptions over things, and we,
Correct.
through social media, which is I think negative and positive, we gain our own understanding, and we end up doing
Hmm.
and forming our own assumptions and understandings of all sorts of concepts.
Correct. Correct.
While it is good, but also it's very uh, harmful or dangerous that we don't have information coming in from the right source or
Right.
a trusted
Right.
source. So
Right.
that's important. I think schools, back in the day when I was in school, I remember teachers laughing at me and teachers discriminating between other people and me because they said my actions were different, the way I spoke was different.
Hmm.
So I was always put aside in school, and I was always asked to not be, probably stand in the third line. जब
Hmm.
भी
Hmm.
लाइब्रेरी जाना होता है तो एक
Hmm.
बॉयज की
Hmm.
लाइन होती है, एक लड़कियों की लाइन होती है, और फिर तीसरी बोलते थे कि हाँ लोकेश, व्हाई डोंट यू, मजाक मजाक में. But now they don't
Uh,
realize that this mazak is something that
yeah.
could trigger someone to do something absolutely stupid and absolutely
Of course.
big,
Right.
and would force them to walk the wrong way. Fortunately, I did not. Fortunately,
Hmm.
I was sane enough to let it go and at that point not take it to my heart. I did cry about it, but I got
Hmm.
over. I think over the years I was
Hmm.
very accustomed to all of this. Um, However, at one point it did put me down. It did force me to, think or have negative thoughts in my head. But I wasn't ready to give up. So if
Right.
if teachers are treating you like this, if teachers who are supposed to teach you things and put you to the right direction, lead you to the right direction, if they are putting you towards the wrong places and they're giving you the wrong notion of the society, then I don't know where and who is going to work on the society and our kids that are
True.
probably going to come in the next few generations.
True, true. I absolutely agree because I think teachers are something. I mean, schools are basically places where we spend more of our time than we spend it at home, and it becomes
Right.
so important to spread the right message because if teachers they encourage stigma by behaving this way, so the student is bound to learn to be stigmatized about these things, right? And to
Absolutely.
view all of these things with stigma, jabki they are normal, like they can, I mean,
Absolutely.
like you said about your experience, there was nothing to discriminate as per se, but teachers did that, and it does have an impact on the mental health as well, and as you said,
Very
it
much.
affected you as well. And another thing that comes is a school doesn't talk about mental health, so it's stigma plus stigma, and it's just another I think you could be
Right.
able to explain better.
I think forget mental health. They don't. I don't. It's just that. अरे इस उम्र में क्या ही तो मेंटल प्रॉब्लम होगी आपको मतलब क्या ही
Exactly,
कंडीशन
yes,
आपको क्या ही बोझ
yes,
है दुनिया का. These are the
right,
common
right.
statements that we've heard over the years, not just from teachers, but from
Hmm.
people of our parents' age. I think that's the broad age demographic that I'd like to
True.
present it as.
Yeah.
So to change that, it's going to take a lot of effort from our end, and to put out the so now the way my parents approach mental health and the way my parents approach sexual assault and abuse is very different because I am an example in the house
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
all of it. Talk about mental health, talk about sexual assault abuse, because they know that, oh, they've seen it very personally, very closely, is why now they have a different approach. Now,
Right.
is this the way we want all parents to realize that mental health and other issues are important to, look at? I don't think so.
No, no.
We don't want this to happen. This is unfortunate, and no other child or human should be going through anything of this sort.
Right.
But how much of
Absolutely.
a call do we need for people to stand up and understand that it's important? It's not something to be
Exactly.
brushed under the carpet
Yeah.
or put behind the curtains. Uh,
Right.
we don't want more breakdowns happening. We don't want more people to be raped. We don't want more of Nirvayas or more of Manishas or any other girl or any other boy that's been traumatized in a way like these people are being traumatized as.
True,
So
true.
I
And
think the
yeah,
change must happen. Yeah, please go ahead.
yeah, I completely agree with you, regarding the change and the mindset of the people. And I've been scrolling through your Instagram, and I've seen that you are working with UNICEF, I think, and
Right,
you're working to spread awareness about sexual abuse. So if
right.
you could throw some light on that.
So I have partnered with joined hands with UNICEF India, Leher India, for a project
Hmm.
that's called as the Minor Project. Now, this project is
Okay.
focused on ending violence against children.
Hmm.
The brand ambassador for it is Ayushman Khurana. He's the face of UNICEF right now,
Okay.
and we're working with him alongside the entire team of advocates. So I'm one of
Hmm.
their advocates, and we're all standing up for and promoting and talking and trying to create a conversation in our own space, on our own
Hmm.
platforms, be it a platform with 1 million followers, be it a platform like mine, which is as small as some thousand followers. We want to create a conversation. That's the motive.
True.
Every corner can be reached through people like us, through people like you and I, because
Hmm.
we are ready to have a conversation. And that's exactly what UNICEF and all of the other advocates, including me, we're trying to
Hmm.
do. We're trying to create a small conversation and create a multi-layered and a multi-fold impact, which is needed.
Of
Unfortunately,
course.
while doing that, we've come across an incident recently, which is, of course, the Manisha's incident, and that has struck.
Hmm.
Um, and it's really it's I mean it is the pain, the agony is inexpressible, but we have got to work against it. We have got to stand and take a and raise our voice and make sure that we are trying to bring in some sort of a change. It's just that,
True.
yeah.
True. And since you spoke about Manisha's case, it is genuinely, like as you said, we're living in 2020, and still cases like these such horrifying cases are happening, and this is the one that came in front of our eyes. There are so many that are still hidden. We can't even
Absolutely.
begin, yeah, and we can't even begin to feel the pain and the agony, as you said, the survivors would have gone through. And it's just
Absolutely.
heartbreaking that people as you said that since we're talking about both the genders go through it, I will mention it as people are going through so much. And the children of India, and that is some other discussion itself, if we go about it.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Um, Correct. I think I agree to that point that as I said, it should be people, and it um, definitely is a larger issue than it being a gender-centric issue.
True.
It's something that we all need to address and start talking about, because we don't want it to come to our own houses and then put us into that
Of
situation that only
course.
then will we understand. Yeah.
Right. Right. So Lokesh, since you spoke about your journey, I'm sure that as you said, it had a huge impact on your mental health as well. So how did you deal with it? And if there are other survivors, how can they keep themselves motivated?
Um, as I think I mentioned this bit in the initial few seconds that we
Hmm.
were talking in this live, how I didn't quite understand or wasn't able to, get to a point of frustration initially for the first few years of me being abused because I didn't know what it was. So for me to
Hmm.
know that
Hmm.
I'm supposed to be angry about it, that's uncommon. But it only triggered or it only harmed my mental state or my mental condition when I started to read about it and when I started to gain more information about it. Only then was I able to understand that this is wrong and I need to do something about it. The way I motivated myself and my only motivating factor was that I had ambition. I'm very passionate in life. I'm very ambitious in life. I have dreams. I work every single day to get
Hmm.
to where I
Hmm.
want to be. And I did not want to give all of that up because of something that wasn't even my fault. Um, and I kept telling myself that. So I think it was every single day, me waking up and telling out my own self that it's not my fault. So why am I worrying about it? Why am I,
Hmm.
uh, making a situation in my head and blaming myself? I don't
Hmm.
need to do
Hmm.
that. The person who should be worried, the person who should be in a traumatized situation is the person who did it because it's his fault.
Yeah.
So I think
Correct.
the small such things that you need to remind yourself um, is how you can get out of it. Somehow
Right.
having an end destination to my journey, somehow knowing that I have to get to healing and I have to be completely healed is how
Hmm.
I was able to see a clear picture of what I wanted in life. If I was clueless that, if I would sit there and crib about what had happened with me and if I just cry, I don't think I would be able to get to where I want to be today. So every such situation needs to be dealt with, understanding how much of it is your part to play in terms of worrying about
Hmm.
it, in terms
Hmm.
of being, sulking about it.
Hmm.
We can either sit and cry or we can work on it bloody damn hard and get out of it as soon as possible. And I chose the latter.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
And as you said, it's so important to have that mind shift that it's the abuser's fault, not the survivor's fault.
absolutely.
From the survivor's point of view, as you said, because I think as many cases that I have heard, like in my personal life as well, I've seen people say that, why did this happen to me? Did I do something wrong? But it's not like that, right? It's always the abuser's fault. You just did nothing wrong, and that guilt can just eat you up inside, and you really, really need to reach out for help at that point.
Absolutely. I think by what I am doing, my major the fact that I want to present and wherever I go to talk about, the one thing that I definitely tell people is that if you want to start healing, you have to stop thinking about the fact that it was your fault.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
day you decide and the day you put this ingrain or drill it into your head that it's not your fault is the day you will completely understand and start healing in your life.
Right.
If you sit down and just think from one perspective, you're not going to be able to get out of it. However, it is very difficult for a victim and a survivor to have different sort of a perspective. So that is exactly
Hmm.
where the part of a different person comes in the picture. So people like
Right.
us, people who understand, who have empathy, who realize, who
Hmm.
have knowledge, can crack ways into having a conversation and put the message
Correct.
across. Not
Right.
directly, we can do it indirectly. There are ways we're very good at having conversations.
Right.
So
Right.
put that point out there that it's not your fault. It's
Hmm.
completely the person who's doing it. It's on him
Hmm.
or her.
Right.
So that is the
Right.
time we, I think, will understand how to get out of a certain situation that's been holding us down for a very long time.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. Makes sense. And as much as I gather from our entire conversation, I feel education is the crux of it, because just one right education can actually bring about a huge change. And
Right,
right now, this lack of good, or we can say important education, that is not there. And once we start working on that, not only in educational institutes, but also if we as humans do our part to have conversations about it, like you said, small conversations about it, and start speaking about it openly, is when we will
right.
encourage people who've been through so much to reach out for help, to speak about it. And as you said, not publicly, but at least to reach out for help. And we may slowly bring a change in the mindset of people, right?
Right, absolutely. I think the one thing that you mentioned, it's not important. The one message that I want to give out to people is that speaking publicly is not some sort of a victory, or speaking publicly
Correct.
is not some sort of an achievement for you to be. It's not a pedestal as a survivor or to be completely healed. It's
Right.
just something that it is a personal choice that I or anybody else who's done it
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
order to spread awareness. You can
Right.
talk about it in your own personal space and don't be pressured about having to talk about it publicly. It is absolutely fine. What's
Hmm.
important is to talk about it.
Right.
That's it. That's the first point. Another point, as you said about education, a recent video that has emerged on the internet, I just saw, I think yesterday, was where I think in Bhopal, I don't know it was somewhere in UP, and they were I think it was Quint. Quint had gone by to a certain school, and they spoke to a few children there,
Hmm.
and they asked what the teachers teach, and
Hmm.
कि उनके स्कूल में क्या पढ़ाया जाता है, या रेप
Hmm.
के बारे
Hmm.
में क्या कॉन्सेप्ट उन्हें सिखाया जाता है, या क्या इम्पार्ट किए जाते हैं स्किल्स.
Hmm.
तो वहां के बच्चे ये कह रहे थे, the kids were talking, the girls were saying that the teachers have told us that somewhere down the line it's also the girl's fault, or somewhere down the line it's the girl who provokes the guy to do, is the result
Hmm.
of what
Hmm.
a girl does. This is what the girls were saying.
Hmm.
And then of course the camera panned down to the guys, and the guys said blatantly that we've been told that it's the girl's fault, और लड़कियों ने ही कुछ किया होगा या उनकी गलती, जब वो छोटे कपड़े पहनते हैं, जब वो ऐसे ऐसे करते हैं, जब वो हमें ललचाते हैं, या जब वो कुछ करती है तो हमें ऐसा कुछ, ये लड़कों के लिए एक इशारा होता है, समथिंग ऑफ दैट ऑन दोज लाइंस. तो अगर ये स्कूल में ऐसी चीजें सिखाई जा रही है, या द हरियाणा स्कूल somebody just mentioned
Hmm.
in the
Yeah.
comment
Yeah.
section,
Hmm.
अगर स्कूल में ये सारी चीजें सिखाई जा रही, तो आप सोच सकते हो कि प्रॉब्लम कहाँ से आ रही है. अगर आप
Exactly.
उस उम्र से वो पॉइंट ड्रिल कर देते हो एक बच्चे के दिमाग में, तो वो चेंज करना बहुत ही ज्यादा मुश्किल होता है. सो यू कैन
Of
नॉट
course.
be boiling down rape to a certain understanding as कि ये लड़कियों की गलती होती है, और वो एक
Hmm.
7-8 साल 10 साल के बच्चे के दिमाग में आप भर दोगे, क्योंकि वो उधर ही रहेगा. वो
Hmm.
बदलना
Hmm.
काफी मुश्किल है, स्पेशली इफ यू आर नॉट, आई एम नॉट, I don't want to sound discriminative about the kind of place that you come from, but if it's somewhere from a village, and where जहाँ पर आपको ज़्यादा अंडरस्टैंडिंग और एजुकेशन की एक्सेस नहीं मिल रही, अगर आप वहां आप ऐसी चीजें सीख रहे हो या आप सिखा रहे हो किसी को, तो वो चेंज होना बहुत ज्यादा मुश्किल है,
Of
बहुत
course.
ज्यादा मुश्किल है. So that
True.
has to stop happening in our system.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
know how much time it's going to take for us to change the system, the education system, because it's pretty simple for even them to know that it's wrong. But I don't know what's coming in the way of our government or the system that they're not able to see. या तो वो देख के अनदेखा कर रहे हैं, जिससे हिंदी में कहावत होती है.
Hmm.
So I don't know what's wrong, but it's important and essential that we change as soon as possible. um, I'm suggesting, I'm coming up with a very vague idea where we protest about, not protest, per se, but we go and talk to our own schools about it, where we've
Hmm.
come from, where we've graduated
Hmm.
from, and we
Hmm.
talk to them personally. We talk to the people who manage the management or whatever that is, and we ask them to take a stand on it and introduce sexual education as per the not as per the norm or not as per the government, the way it's been provided, but the way it should be. And if every
Yeah.
such school starts taking a personal stand on it and starts educating their kids in their own way, which is of course a very right manner,
Hmm. Hmm.
I think we will be able to get there. I don't know if I will. Of course, there has to be a lot of study that needs to go under it, but why not? Why
Of
can't we
course.
take
And
such
yeah,
steps?
there's no harm in doing it. It's only going to, even if it impacts one child at the end, when I'm sure it will impact
Absolutely.
more. Even if one child, you can actually save a life, right? And it's so important. And even with
Absolutely.
schools, and as we discussed before, it is so important for us as well to spread the right information and the right education about being
Right.
mindful and about creating a safe space, as we discussed before.
Absolutely. Yep. I'll tell you a recent example that
Hmm.
uh, I remember when my story was posted on some page. I don't know which page was the lead for that conversation that happened between
Hmm.
another guy and me. He DM'd
Hmm.
me and he spoke about how, because he saw and read my story, he stood up for himself and he went and he took a train. This was before the pandemic.
Okay.
Um, he stood up. He took a train from where he was. He went to his hometown. He went. He sat his parents down. He sat his sister down, and he went and told them everything that happened to him and his sister, because his sister had also been abused and he was also abused back in the day.
Hmm.
He sat them down and he told everything to the parents. And then the parents supported him in return and gave him all the love and gave her all the love and made sure that the victim was confronted, the abuser's family was confronted, the abuser was confronted, and that happened. And that's just one example of me seeing a change happening in the society. Imagine if we were able to see many such examples in our society, what sort of an impact can be created. It is unimaginable. I was
Definitely,
shocked.
yeah.
I was surprised. I was happy that day. And I was so proud of myself that I
Of
gave
course.
myself a pat on the back that I did it. I did what I
Yeah,
wanted to do, though in a very small way, but I did it. And this is what I want to see. I want to hear more stories, not new. I'm talking about ones that are existing. I don't want any other child to go through this, and I will do my best, all of these kids out there, through my own way and my own manner. But for the existing people who are stuck in some place and are not able to get
hmm,
out of it, I want to reach out to each one of them if I can possibly and tell them that please speak about it and start healing, because it is traumatizing. It is a really bad place,
right.
and sometimes it's even, I think, words are empty vessels that cannot hold down our emotions. It's just that.
Of course. And Lokesh, as you say this, like everybody in the comment section is saying, I too want to say I'm so proud of you, genuinely.
Thank
And
you.
for if the person is seeing this live right now, the one who DM'd you, I'm so proud of you as well. And you, everybody, we all deserve to heal, and this is not something which was our fault. So it's
Absolutely.
definitely not us who should be suffering from it. And it's
Right.
so important to realize that we are not alone in this journey, and there are people like you who are helping out, and reaching out to people. And it's so
Absolutely.
important. And just with your story, you're encouraging so many people to reach out for help, which is so important, because it's so important to realize that you're not alone in this journey. And you can have all the support that you need.
Correct. Absolutely. I also have another story flashing in my mind, which I will
Hmm.
say in complete anonymity.
Hmm.
Of course, there was this one boy who reached out to me, and he told me that he was being abused by his own father. Um, Now you can imagine the kind of trauma that person might be in. No way to escape. Where will he go?
Hmm.
Where can
Hmm.
he go? Because उसके घर में ही ये चीज हो रही है. उसके खुद के फादर के थ्रू ये चीज हो रही है. I don't know how, in the first place, can a father do this, and I don't know how he kept himself strong for so many years. Kudos to him. I have been able to help him in a way. We met back then and we spoke about how things can work for us. He has shifted out of that house. He is now living out there on a job, doing good in life, and away from the person. I was glad that I was able to give him some thought. The rest of it was his decision to move out and do everything. I was just
Hmm.
there
Hmm.
praying and helping and giving him the strength that he needed. However, that's not with everybody. That's not the case. That amount of strength is not a case with everybody. There are so many people who just succumb to the pressure. So many
Correct.
people who aren't able to give that strength or gain that strength within themselves, and they give up ultimately.
Right.
If you or anybody is around a such person, please extend some support. I'm not saying you have to help them financially, but if you can do so by giving some small thought, जो मैंने किया बेसिकली एक छोटा सा
Hmm.
बस
Hmm.
उसको एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग देना है. अगर आप वो
Hmm.
कर
Hmm.
सकते हो तो आई थिंक आप किसी की दुनिया कंप्लीटली फ्लिप कर सकते हो, नेगेटिव टू एब्सोल्युटली
Definitely.
पॉजिटिव. So this is what we've
Awesome.
got to do. It's pretty simple. It's very simple, I'm telling you.
Right.
it's
Right.
it's a no-brainer.
Right. And as we discussed before, listening, just one, just if you listen to that person will automatically feel so empowered that, okay, maybe there are so more people like that. And maybe if I speak about it, if I reach out for help for it, I may heal from this.
Right. Absolutely. Totally.
Okay. So, Lokesh, is there any message that you'd like to give out there to the people and the survivors?
Um, uh, I want to tell all those people who are stuck in a situation right now where they're not able to speak up or not able to gain strength. I want to say to you that I know you, I hear you, I'm there for you, and I'm proud of you most of all. More than being sorry for what has happened with you, I want to say that I'm very, very and extremely proud of you that you've been able to endure the amount of pain that it gives you and be on your feet doing your bit the way you have been doing and thriving. But I want you also to know that it is not your fault and you've got to start healing. And it is something that you today, tomorrow, I don't know how many years later, but at some point you will want to heal out of that situation and you must do that. I've come across people of age 45 also wanting to heal. Um, and I think that is brilliant. If you're whatever age that you're at, you've got to heal. You must heal because you deserve that. You deserve a closure in life.
Of
And
course.
I
Right.
give all my love, strength, and power to you who need it. And I hope and pray that you get out of that situation as soon as possible. And I will do all I can in my strength and my energy and my power to make sure and ensure that no other child has to go through what I did. Yeah,
And I'm just speechless, and I just again want to say I'm genuinely so proud of you, and so glad to have talked to you about something that is so important and something that is personally close to my heart as well.
Thank you. And I'm
Genuinely,
more
thank you
yeah,
so
thank you.
much for coming.
Thanks to you for letting me do this with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And like Lokesh said to everybody viewing this, if you need any help, any support, please feel free to reach out to Lokesh, to the Mood Space. We are here for you, and you don't have to go through this alone. We will offer you the best support and the best help that we can. Don't feel alone. We are genuinely here for you to listen and to provide professional help. And like Lokesh said, to just be there for you.
Absolutely. Very much.
And to wrap this up, I'd just like to brief everybody what we at the Mood Space do. So we at the Mood Space, we are an e-counseling platform, and we provide therapy to Indians globally via audio, video, and text support sessions. And as you said, it can be very difficult for someone to speak about something that has happened to them or is happening to them. We do offer tech support sessions for you, for y'all as well. So, and the information that you provide us with will be completely confidential, and we're here for you, Lokesh and the Mood Space. So feel free
Absolutely.
to reach out to us anytime. And yeah, thank you so much, Lokesh, for coming and joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful
No
day ahead. Bye bye,
problem.
everyone.
You
Thanks.
too. Bye bye. Thank you.